Lightning forked across the sky, illuminating the rickety airship as it bobbed dangerously between clouds. Lira gripped the wheel, knuckles bone white, as the whispering isles drifted below, 1,000 floating fragments of land, each flickering with veins of blue magic. She didn't dare look down. The endless sea roared beneath the clouds, promising oblivion to anyone who slipped. "You sure your maps are right, Lira?" barked Grayson, the gruff helmsman, over the howl of the wind. "Trust me," Lira shouted back, revealing the star-shaped compass etched with runes. It pulsed, faintly tugging her toward the horizon. Ever since she'd first found her mother's old astral maps, she'd dreamt of this day, of chasing the myth of the Starstone and mending the fractures tearing the skies apart. Suddenly, spectral figures loomed ahead, guardians of mist, eyes glowing sapphire in the storm. Lyra's heart hammered. "Brace yourselves. Keep the runes steady." Grayson's voice wavered for the first time. "Those things only let true navigators through. This was madness, Lira." She drew a shaky breath, remembering her promise. "Bring hope to the Isles or vanish trying. I have to believe I can do this." The first guardian plunged toward the ship, tearing a ribbon of fog in its wake. Lira gritted her teeth. The compass glowed hot in her palm. She murmured the words her mother had left her. "Let my heart be the lantern across the night." A surge of warmth spread through her, and the spectral forms parted, swirling around her like a flock of celestial birds. Grayson gawked. "I'll be staked! You're doing it!" Lira smiled, though her legs shook. "Hold on, the storm's only just begun." With one challenge behind them, and the map pointing deeper into magic-laced skies, Lira gazed ahead, knowing the next trial would not just test her skill, but her very soul. Rain drummed on the deck as Lira steered them clear of the spectral guardians. Mist clung to her lashes, but a flicker of pride shone through the fatigue. The compass in her hand thrummed gently, pointing them forward. Grayson scrambled down from the rigging, boots slick, and fixed Lira with a look. "You said nothing about ghosts." She mustered a shaky grin. "Would you have come if I had?" He huffed, but his frown had softened. "Got a point. Where's this stone supposed to be, anyway?" Lira unrolled the astral map. Blue lines shimmered across the worn parchment, shifting with each heartbeat. "The map says we have to cross the shrouded passage next, the line between the veiled reef and Eldertide. But it changes, Grayson. Every time I look, it's different. Like it reads what I'm ready for. Or leads you to your doom," he muttered, eyes searching the murk beyond the prow. A sudden crack split the air. The ship lurched sideways, nearly tossing Lira into the churning mist. Grayson hauled her back, both of them drenched and trembling. From beneath the hull came a strange musical humming. She knelt by the edge, peering into the fog. "That's not wind. Listen." Floating alongside the ship were fragments of stone, runes glowing, wordless voices whispering in a tongue she almost understood. The stones orbited slowly as if beckoning. Lira reached out, fingers tingling. The humming grew clearer, resolving into an ancient song. "You hear that?" she whispered. "I do," Grayson whispered, wonder overtaking fear. Suddenly the runes on the orb nearest Lira flashed, and with a lurch the ship sped onward, caught in the current of ancient magic. As islands formed dim shapes ahead, Lira realized that this journey wasn't guided by maps alone, but by something buried deep in her own blood. Her connection to the Isles ran deeper than she'd ever known. She straightened, eyes fierce and hopeful. "We're getting close. Let's find the next clue before someone else does." The musical current delivered the ship into sunlight at the edge of the veiled reef, a maze of floating boulders cloaked in tangled vines and drifting coral. Lyra's breath caught when she spotted the reef's heart, a rising pillar of crystal, swirling with inner stars. Grayson let out a low whistle. "Looks like it's been busy." Shapes darted below, scales and fins glinting. Lira heard laughter, but it wasn't Grayson's. Silvery forms appeared in the reef shadows, eyes aglow. The Reefkin, mythic guardians of lost knowledge. Word was they devour trespassers or drive them mad. "Let me speak," Lira murmured, shedding her fear. She leaned over the railing, heart pounding. "We come in peace, seeking the Starstone to heal our world." A ripple passed through the Reefkin. One, taller and brighter, ascended from the depths. "Many seek, fewer care why," it sang, voice layered and strange. "Why you?" Lira hesitated. For the first time, her resolve flickered. "I was chosen. Because the islands are rifting, and only the unbroken can find the way. I want to restore what's been lost, not just for my sake. The Reefkin's eyes narrowed. Truth balances on a knife, deceivers perish here. Lyra's voice steadied. What must I do? The Guardian held out a hand. Threads of magic spun between its fingers, forming a shifting puzzle. Solve the song lock, it intoned. Let the music of the Isles find its harmony, or remain lost. Grayson gripped her shoulder. We're with you. The puzzle hovered over her palms, impossible runes spinning, harmonies colliding. Lira closed her eyes, letting instinct and memory guide her fingers. Slowly the melodies swirled into order. Light burst from her hands. The puzzle resolved into a map fragment. The Guardian's gaze warmed. You may pass, but beware shadows who covet the stone. Lira grinned at Grayson as the Reefkin withdrew. Ready for the next storm? Wouldn't miss it, he replied, chest puffed with newfound pride. As the current swept them onward, Lira felt change stirring inside her. She had faced her first real trial, and her trust had opened the way. Dusky orange light bled across the sky as Lyra's ship glided past the veiled reef. The new fragment of map shimmered in her hands, revealing a glowing archipelago, the Eldertide Isles, perched at the edge of legend. Their destination seemed close now, yet anxiety lingered. The Reefkin's warning whispered in her mind, beware shadows who covet the stone. The sky grew crowded as they approached Eldertide. Rival ships circled in the distance, banners flapping, the crimson of the gilded flock, the silver of Tide Order, and shadowy craft without flags. Grayson spat overboard. The vultures have arrived. Lira kept her face impassive. We're not the only ones desperate to heal the rift. A sudden burst of wind rocked their ship. Cloaked figures shimmered into visibility on the deck. The Sky Raiders, notorious for hunting magical relics. Swords drawn, their leader, a woman with hair of burnished gold, strode forward. Hand over the map, girl. You're outnumbered, she barked. Lira gazed at the woman, heart pounding, but kept her voice even. And do you plan to fix the Isles or break them? The woman sneered. We take what the world won't save. Nothing more. Give it here. Grayson moved to stand beside Lira, fists clenched. You'll have to fight us both. Steel flashed. Lira dodged the first blow, breathing in her mother's words, let your courage be the wind. As the Sky Raiders pressed in, Lira wove a quick incantation, drawing on the compass's power. Magical force erupted, tossing the raiders back, but one grabbed the map fragment in the chaos. No, Lira cried, surging forward. Grayson tackled the thief, wresting the fragment free. Bruised but resolute, he pressed it into Lyra's palm. The Sky Raider leader cursed, retreating as the ship's magical wards flared. As quiet returned, Lira helped Grayson up, awe and gratitude mixing in her eyes. You risked everything. He shrugged, wiping blood from his brow. Couldn't let you down now. We're in this together, remember? Lira nodded, more determined than ever. Together. And we're nearly there. Overhead, the stars wheeled and the Isles whispered their secrets into the night, while in the shadows, unseen eyes plotted their next move. Night thickened over the floating world as Lira and Grayson limped away from the Sky Raiders' ambush. The arching shapes of Eldertide Isles loomed ahead, torchlit with swaying lanterns and crowned with ancient spires. Even from afar, the air prickled with energy, crackling louder with each beat of Lyra's heart. They docked in the shadow of the largest isle, Half Moon's crest. The map fragment shimmered as Lira traced its edge, glowing symbols aligning with the spinning astral compass. Whispers drifted on the wind, real this time, not mere superstition. The rift grows wider, one voice sighed. Starstone's power is fracturing. Do you hear them? Grayson asked, eyes wide. Lira nodded, awe in her tone. It's the voices of the Isles. My mother said some navigators can listen. Really listen. Looks like I'm one of them. As they followed the compass deeper into the island, plants bent toward them and stones pulsed beneath their feet. At the island's heart, nestled in a grove of silverleaf trees, an ancient obelisk awaited, its runes cracked, magic leaking in fitful sparks. A grim-faced man emerged from the shadows, Master Soren, traitor of the Tide Order, and a name Lira knew from whispered stories. At his side a dark crystal stood devouring starlight. So the child navigator returns, he drawled, voice cool and cruel. Give me the map, girl. The Isles must be ruled, not healed. Only the strong deserve the Starstone's gift. Grayson lunged, but Soren trapped him with a gesture, shadows binding him tight. Lyra's stomach twisted, but she lifted her chin. I won't let you exploit what's meant to heal us all. Soren's laughter echoed. You've no choice. Heart racing, Lira did what she'd never dared before, sent her mind out reaching for the Isle's whispers. She pleaded for help, letting magic surge through her veins. The obelisk shivered. Its runes flared, freeing Grayson and knocking Soren back. Grayson scrambled to his feet, fierce and loyal. Nice trick, Captain, Lira beamed, trembling but alive. Let's leave Soren in the dust. The stone's close. I can feel it. As they fled into the glowing woods, Lira realized she wasn't just following the old maps. She was carving her own. And bit by bit, her courage was mending not just the Isles, but herself. Lira and Grayson raced through the Silverleaf woods, shadows chasing at their heels. Every root and branch seemed alive, parting to help them on their way. Behind them, Master Soren's furious shouts grew fainter, but Lira sensed his dark magic still probing for them, relentless as the rift itself. The next clue glinted where moonlight spilled into a clearing, a broken statue of a winged guardian. Embedded in its chest was a crystal fragment, pulsing softly as Lira approached. She reached out, feeling the stone's magic twist with pain and hope. Another piece? Grayson whispered, his voice hushed. Lira nodded. I think so, but there's something wrong. The guardian's broken. She closed her eyes and listened, really listened, to the constant hum of the Isles. In her mind's eye she saw the history, fierce storms, guardians shattered in battle, and desperate hands fighting for magic scraps. A tremor ran through her, fear mingling with determination. We have to heal it, not just take the fragment, Lira realized aloud. She placed both hands on the statue, letting warmth and care seep through her. The runes beneath her fingers shimmered, and for a heartbeat, the guardian's shattered pieces drew closer together. A thunderous clang shattered the reverie. A squad of Tide Order enforcers surrounded them, weapons glowing icy blue. Their leader, a silver-armored woman, leveled her blade. Step away from the relic, child. By the edict of the Order, all magic belongs to us. Grayson stepped between Lira and the enforcers. Why do you people only ever show up when it's time to steal something good? The leader's gaze never wavered. Because power in the wrong hands shatters entire worlds. Lira squared her shoulders. If the Order truly wanted to heal the rift, you would have done it already. A hush fell. Lira reached deep into the obelisk's memory one last time, drawing out what healing she could. The statue glowed, restored for a single radiant instant, long enough for the magic to accept her as worthy. The crystal fragment released with a gentle chime. The Order's leader hesitated, recognizing what had happened. You're not like the others. She's better, Grayson growled, grabbing Lira's arm as they sprinted deeper into the woods. Two underdogs, carrying the last hope of the Isles, while ancient powers watched their every move. For the first time, Lira felt not only magic surge through her veins, but belonging. Her journey wasn't just about heritage or legends anymore. It was about what she dared to become. Dawn spread milky gold across Eldertide as Lira and Grayson slipped through the earliest mists. The crystal fragment in Lira's pouch pulsed in time with the compass now, guiding them past ancient monoliths and watchful sentry trees that hummed Lira's name. Above, scattered rival fleets drifted closer. Word of their success was spreading. They reached a crumbling amphitheater veined with star silver, where the map's new markings pointed toward the center stage. Lira's hands shook as she unfolded the astral map. Light stitched the fragments together, unlocking the next route, a hidden sky bridge linking the islands like stitches in a wounded cloth. A ripple of energy surged. Grayson steadied her. You all right, Captain? Lira nodded, though her vision blurred. It's like the Isles are talking to me more directly. I hear everything, feel everything. Joy, fear, hope. It hurts sometimes, but it's beautiful too. Grayson squeezed her shoulder. Then you're doing it right. Only those who care enough to feel get to change things. From the stands, a shadow moved. Soren emerged, battered but undiminished, flanked by a Sky Raider and the very Tide Order leader they'd escaped. Unlikely allies, united now by their greed for the Starstone. Soren's voice rang out, cold and theatrical. Well done, Lira. One more crossing and you'll lead us straight to the Starstone. Hand over the fragments and we'll spare your friend. The Sky Raider grinned, blade gleaming in the rising sun. The Tide Order leader's icy stare fixed on Lira. Do not sacrifice the balance for sentiment. Lira's hands trembled. The bridge would only appear for those truly worthy. For a heartbeat, doubt clouded her vision. Was she enough? Grayson caught her eye, voice steady. I trust you, Lira. Whatever happens, we choose hope, not fear. Her fear turned to defiance. Lira raised the compass and sang out the melody she'd learned from the Isles, her voice shaky but true. The amphitheater vibrated as hidden runes unfurled, revealing the sky bridge, an arc of shimmering crystal, beckoning only her forward. She turned to her rivals, meeting each gaze in turn. You can't force the Isles to heal. Only those who choose hope and unity can cross. As she stepped onto the bridge, Grayson closed behind. Soren and the others slammed into an invisible barrier. The magic recoiled from greed and hunger, but parted for the courage in Lyra's heart. They hurried across the fragile span, chased by threats and envy. Lyra's confidence solidified with each step. Every test had sharpened her gift. Ahead, beneath a shower of falling stars, the final isle waited, where the starstone pulsed with the hope of a broken world. The sky bridge trembled as Lira and Grayson set foot on the Isle of Dawning, a place so suffused with ancient energy that silver mists curled around their ankles and the ground shimmered under each step. Above them, the sky glowed violet, pierced by streaks of desperate magic spinning between the sundered islands. The map's final fragment melted into the compass, lighting a path up a stairway of roots toward a temple crowned with a whirling vortex of starlight. The distant shouts of Soren, Sky Raiders, and the Tide Order faded behind the barrier, for now held at bay by Lyra's growing bond with the Isles. Grayson drew close, voice low. You know what waits in there, right? Once you touch the stone, there's no turning back. Lira paused, fear swirling with hope. I know. I wish my mother could see this. She believed we could do better, that pain could make us stronger, not harder. The temple doors swung open on their own, revealing a chamber filled with rotating constellations and soft, singing echoes. At its heart, atop a twisted pedestal, floated the Starstone, a crystalline heart pulsing to the rhythm of the Isles themselves. Suddenly, her mind filled with clashing voices, pleas of the suffering, laughter of the healed, and whispers of those who had come before. The magic's weight pressed against her chest, testing her worth. Lira, Grayson whispered, you were always meant for this. I've seen you grow every step. Braver, wiser, kinder. That's what the Isles need. As she stepped forward, the Isles' voices quieted, making way for one clear tone, her mother's gentle voice. Mend with hope, not hunger. Lira laid her hands on the Starstone. Light blazed through her, and through every strand of magic holding the Isles aloft. The rifts murmured, uncertain, waiting for her choice. But outside, a new danger gathered. The barrier trembled as Soren, now wielding dark artifacts stolen from the Sky Raiders and Tide Order alike, gathered his forces for a final assault. The walls of the temple shook, shadows leaking through the cracks. Time was running out. Lyra's true test loomed. Could she heal not just the magic, but also unite a broken world before darkness reclaimed everything? The temple's walls keened as the barrier outside fractured, thunderclouds swirling in anger. Lira clung to the Starstone, magic rippling through her veins, the voices of the Isles swelling in her mind. She could feel the pain of each rift, see each lost island, each broken bond, and for the first time she didn't shrink away from the sorrow. She let it fuel her resolve. Grayson stood at her side, sword drawn, ready despite his trembling hands. You're the light, Lira. I'll hold the door as long as I can. Heavy footsteps echoed. Soren stormed into the temple, gaunt face twisted by shadows and arrogance. He thrust forth a jagged crystal, shouting, You think hope is enough to bind these islands? Only power rules, girl. Surrender the stone. His magic smashed into Grayson, who fell to one knee but refused to yield. Lira stepped between them, the Starstone blazing in her hands. The Isles don't need another tyrant. They need healing, trust, and unity. Soren sneered, pushing the darkness harder. The Starstone pulsed dangerously, overwhelmed by the brewing conflict. The temple's constellations flickered, bits of ceiling tumbling as the world outside twisted, islands drifting toward disaster. Inside her chest, something broke open, not from fear, but from fierce compassion. Lira called out, not just to the Isles, but to her enemies. You're fighting the wrong battle. All of us are broken, but together, truly together, we can be whole again. For a moment, the power in Soren's hand faltered. The Sky Raider captain, standing hesitant in the doorway, lowered her weapon. The Tide Order leader looked uncertain, sensing the magnitude of Lyra's will. Seeing the pause, Lira pressed the stone to her heart and sang out the harmonies she had gathered from every trial and every whisper. Magic poured from the temple in radiant ribbons, reaching for every rival, every island, every heart. But it wasn't finished. Soren snarled, summoning a monstrous wave of darkness, hurling it directly at Lira and the Starstone. Grayson leapt to protect her, battered by the force as the temple buckled violently. This was it, the last stand. Lyra's voice wavered on the edge of breaking. With every heartbeat, the fate of the Isles and everyone she loved hung trembling in the balance. Darkness crashed against light inside the temple, filling the chamber with a howling wind. The Starstone in Lyra's hands nearly split under the pressure, drawing magic in and threatening to shatter everything she had become. Above them, cracks spidered through the ceiling, starlight leaking in rivulets that streamed from every broken constellation. Grayson, battered but unbroken, forced himself to his feet and faced Soren's looming figure. "You can't break her, and you won't break us." Soren's voice twisted with desperation. "Give me the power. It's the only way." Lyra's eyes met Soren's. In that instant she saw the pain and fear behind his rage. A man once hopeful, now hollowed by loss. "You're wrong, Soren. The only way is together." She opened herself fully to the Starstone's magic, letting every memory, motherly affection, Grayson's loyalty, her own doubts and triumphs pour into its heart. The stone answered, humming with pure, shared longing for unity rather than conquest. Magic burst from Lira in a wave so bright it blinded everyone in the room. The force swept through foe and friend alike, and as it did, the dark crystal in Soren's hand cracked, then dissolved to dust. The Sky Raider captain threw down her weapon, shamed. The Tide Order leader dropped to her knees, eyes shining with tears. Outside, the sky healed. The drifting isles glided closer, magical bridges knitting rift and sky, luminous roots stretching from island heart to island heart. The endless sea below calmed, mirrored now by a world mending instead of breaking. Lira, drained but resolute, lifted her head. Her harmony echoed across the isles, calling every heart to hope. Grayson limped to her side, beaming. "You did it, Lira. We did it." Soren fell to his knees, gaze empty. Lira offered him a hand, her forgiveness sealing the magic's work. "Help me keep the peace, for real this time." He took it. The rivals, one by one, nodded. Unity, hard won, began to bloom. The Starstone dimmed, having granted its gift. Lira looked out over the now-bound isles, a world healed by courage, humility, and the willingness to change. She smiled, tears streaming. She was no longer just a navigator. She was a keeper of hope, in a sky that finally whispered peace. As dusk fell and new stars blinked into being, Lira understood the true lesson. Sometimes the smallest underdog can change the fate of worlds. Not by fighting alone, but by daring to reach across every rift, mending together that which was always meant to be whole.